Okay, in 3.3, for this one, we're going to divide by x plus 6. We use the box. I don't know how many columns there are going to be. To start, I put this in the first box, 2x squared. Now I can pull out an x, and I would have a 2x left over. 2x times 6 is 12x. Am I finished? No. Add a column. That diagonal has to contain only x terms. So I have 12x, and I want to create a 15x. So I need an additional 3x. Now I pull out an x, and I get plus 3. 3 times 6 is 18. Is that the number I was hoping for? No, which means there's going to be a remainder. So we add another column. 18 and that number will need to add up to be 23. I need an additional 5. What happens when I pull an x out of 5? I can't. So that's my remainder. So 2x plus 3, remainder 5. Now in this problem, you're going to put the 2x plus 3 in the quotient, and you're going to put 5 in the remainder. But on other problems, it will want you to do this. Plus 5 divided by x plus 6. Technically, this is the true answer, but this problem wants to know what did you get for your quotient and what did you get for your remainder. Okay? What if there is no remainder? Then you just put it at 0. Okay. All right, let's do one that's a little bit harder than that. All right. This one is bigger than a quadratic, but the process is exactly the same. We put 5x plus 4 on the left side. And I don't know how many columns there are going to be, so I just leave that open. The first box is always the leading term. 15x to the third. Pull out a 5 and an x. What's left? 3x squared. Does everybody get that? Okay. Now 3x squared times 4 is 12x squared. Those need to add up to be 17. I have 12. I need to create a 17, which means I need an additional 5. Everybody all right with that? Okay, so we put in 5x squared, pull out a 5 and an x, and I'm left with plus x. X times 4 is 4x. Add a column. These need to add up to be negative 6. I have 4. I need to create a negative 6. So how much more do I need? Negative 10. Everybody get that? So negative 10x. Pull out a 5 and an x, and I get negative 2. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. Is that the number I was hoping for? No, so I add a column. Those two need to add up to be negative 16. So I have negative 8. I need to create a negative 16, which means I need an additional negative 8. And I can't take a 5x out of that, so that is my remainder. Remainder, negative 8. So my quotient is 3x squared plus x minus 2, and then my remainder would just be negative 8. Does that make sense? All right, let's do one that's a little bit harder. Okay. There's something different about this one. Oh, the answer is in a different form. Good. Yeah, look at there are two things going on here that are a little bit strange. First, there's a negative right there, and that actually looks a little bit frightening, but it's not going to make any difference in how you solve it. The other thing is, this is an x squared, and it's missing an x term, right? That is really negative 5x squared plus 0x minus 3. And you have to put the 0 in there. Well, I guess you don't have to, but if you don't put the 0 in there, you'll probably make a mistake because your diagonals won't line up like you want them to. So, on the left side, we write negative 5x squared plus 0x minus 3. Okay? It's missing, there's no x term. You'll get good at spotting that. Okay? Also, these are out of order. And is the numerator missing any x's? Yes, it's missing x to the third. That's going to be important too. Okay? We don't have to reorder, but we do have to realize that it's out of order and we're missing one of the x terms. Okay. So what should I put in the first box? Negative 10x to the fourth. So this one goes in the first box. Negative 10x to the fourth. Everybody all right with that? Pull out a negative 5x squared. What's left? 2x squared. You guys understand that? 2x squared times 0x is 0x to the third. Now, I know that is 0, but I'm going to write it as 0x to the third just to keep track of everything. Otherwise, like I said, you'll probably make a mistake if you don't put your zeros in there. Okay. Now, 2x to the third times negative 3 is negative 6x squared. Add a column. What do those need to add up to be? How many x to the thirds are in the original numerator? None. So I have 0. I want to create 0. So how many more do I need? 0. So 0x to the third. What times 5x squared is 0 or x to the third? 0x. And 0x times 0x is 0x squared. And 0x times negative 3 is 0x. So one thing you'll notice is if you have a 0 in a row, then every number in that row will be a 0. If you have a 0 in a column, then every number in that column will be a 0. All right. So now these three need to add up to be what? Positive 9x squared. So I have negative 6 plus 0. How many more do I need to reach 9? What do you add to negative 6 to get 9? 15. Is everybody all right with that? Okay. Pull out a 5, a negative 5, and an x squared, and I get minus 3. Negative 3 times 0x is 0x. Negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. Okay, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky. What do these need to add up to be? Oops. Those need to add up to be negative 4. So 0 plus 0 plus what is negative 4x? Negative 4x. Okay, and these need to add up to be negative 7. So 9 plus what is negative 7? Negative 7. Oh, is it positive? Oh, it is positive. It just looks negative from where I'm standing. Okay, negative 2. So, these are my remainder. That's kind of weird. My remainder is 2 terms? Yes, it is. So the answer is 2x squared minus 3 plus negative 4x minus 2 over negative 5x squared minus 3. Okay, that was a little bit weird. Let's do another one. Oop. Okay. So the left side is 2x squared plus 0x plus 1. Okay. And notice I put in the 0. You need that 0 term. Draw my box. We put 10x to the third in here. Pull out a 2 and an x squared, and we get plus 5x. 5x times 0x is 0x squared. 5x times 1 is 5x. Add a column. Those two have to add up to be what? We have 0, but what do I want to end up with? 2x squared. So I need to add 2x squared. Pull out a 2 and an x squared plus 1. 1 times 0x is 0x. 1 times 1 is 1. Okay. Now, these three have to add up to be 13. So how do I go from 5 to 13? 8x. Okay? And then those two have to add up to be 3. So I have 1. What do I need in order to get to 3? So my answer is 5x plus 1 plus 8x plus 2 over 2x squared plus 1. Do you want to see another one of those? Yeah? Okay. All right, so the left side is negative x squared plus x plus 2. What goes in the first box? Negative 2x to the 4th. So negative 2x to the 4th. Pull out a negative and an x squared, and I get 2x squared. 2x squared times x is 2x to the 3rd, and 2x squared times 2 is 4x squared. Add a column. What's going to go here? No. X cubed. I have 2x cubed. I need to reach 3x cubed. So I need an additional x to the third. Anybody not understand that? Everybody's all right with that? Okay. Pull out a negative and an x squared, and I get minus x. Negative x times positive x is negative x squared, and negative x times 2 is negative 2x. Add a column. Those three have to add up to be 6. 4 minus 1 is 3. How many more do I need to reach 6? 3 more. So 3x squared. Now I pull out a negative and an x squared, and I get minus 3. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. So this is my remainder column over here. How do I reach... how many x's are there? 0x. So negative 2x minus 3x plus the remainder has to equal 0. So what is that portion of the remainder going to be? So negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. What can I put here to create a 0? 5x. Okay. What about those two? I have negative 6. I need to reach negative 15. So I need a negative 9. So what's the answer? 2x squared minus x minus 3 plus my remainder is 5x minus 9 over negative x squared plus x plus 2. Now, that's as hard as it gets. Okay? There is a shortcut sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes there's a shortcut. So let's say I had x to the third minus 6x squared plus 2x minus 15. Okay? And I divided it by x minus 2. All right? If your denominator is 1x plus or minus something. So if your denominator is, say, x minus 3, or x plus 1, or x minus 5, something like that. If your denominator is x to the first, and then some whole number after it, then there is a shortcut for division. Okay? And this is what you do. It's called synthetic division, and it's really, really fast, but it doesn't work all the time. But in this case, it will work because I have x minus 2 in the bottom. Okay? What number makes the bottom 0? 2. So I'm going to write equals 0, and I add 2, and I get x equals 2. Okay? Now, synthetic division is going to look really weird, but I put 2 in the corner, and then I go through and I list all of the coefficients of the numerator. So 1, negative 6, 2, negative 15. Now, you have to be careful. They have to be in descending order. Right? They can't be scrambled. They have to be in the proper order. Okay? And you have to check, am I missing any x's in the numerator? So 3, 2, 1, constant. So no, I'm not missing anything. So here's the process for doing synthetic division. You drop the first term, and then you do 2 times 1 is 2. Then you add negative 4, and then 2 times negative 4 is negative 8, and then you add 2 times negative 6 is negative 12, and then this is my remainder. I just divided it using synthetic division. Okay, well, what do those numbers mean? I started with an x to the third. And if you take x to the third and you divide it by x, you're going to get x squared. So this was x to the third, x squared, x, and constant. But I divided all of those by x, so now this is x squared minus 4x minus 6, remainder negative 27. Does that make sense? So I started with x to the third, which means I end with an x squared. So the answer is x squared minus 4x minus 6 plus negative 27 over x minus 2. Okay, let's do another one. Okay. Does the bottom meet the requirements for synthetic division? Yes. So what number am I going to put in the corner? Negative 3. Is the numerator missing any x's? Yes. It's missing the x term. So I need to put a 0 in its place. 1, negative 2, 0, 4. If you don't put that 0, you cannot get the right answer. All right? Then the process is very simple. Drop the first one, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. And what is the answer? Well, I started with an x to the third, so I'm going to end with an x squared. X squared minus 5x plus 15 plus negative 41 over x plus 3. So synthetic division is super fast, but it only works when the bottom is x plus a number or x minus a number. Okay, so let's do some of the synthetic division problems. All right. So it has already set up the synthetic division for you. So the bottom is x plus 6, which means we put a negative 6 in the corner. And then we drop, so that would be a 1. Negative 6 times 1 is negative 6, which gives me a 0. Negative 6 times 0 is 0. And notice, they put a 0 there. Why? Because there is no x term in the numerator. 0 plus 0 is 0. Negative 6 times 0 is 0. And negative 3. And then that last one is your remainder. So I started with x to the third. So this right here is telling me x squared plus 0x plus 0 with a remainder of negative 3. So we just put in x squared and then negative 3. Do you need to see another one? Yeah? Let's do one more. Okay. The bottom is x plus 7, which means we put negative 7 in the corner. So we drop the negative 1. Negative 7 times negative 1 is 7. Negative 6 plus 7 is 1. Negative 7 times 1 is negative 7. Then 8 minus 7 is 1. Negative 7 times 1 is negative 7. And that gives me a remainder of 0. So this turns into negative x squared plus x plus 1. And then my remainder is 0 over x plus 7. Okay. All right. Get working on 3.3. Good luck.